All right, welcome back. So we're in the next video. We're going to talk about 10.1. So I do things a little bit differently. You may look at the schedule and you see I sort of intermix chapter 9 and 10 because the material is really so complementary and I like to present it in a little bit of a different order than the book does. Okay, so we're just going to talk about space, which is R3. So we write it like this. And it's just three-dimensional space. Not outer space, not the final frontier, haha. Just three-dimensional, how we describe things going in 3 dimensions. So let me start by drawing. I'm going to draw my axes like so. And then I'll put another one here. Okay. And the way that I label them has to follow what's called the right-hand rule. Okay, so what I do, put my hand up, and I start with my pointer finger is X, the middle finger coming out is Y, and then the thumb is Z. Okay, so that's sort of going to give me the orientation. So if I put my middle finger out, or my first finger out, it's hard to do with, it's hard to do in this setting, but I can think of this as like, this is X, this is Y, this is Z. Okay, because if I do it, I can think of this as the X, the pointer finger going out, the Y finger goes to the right, and the Z points up. Okay, so that's going to give me the orientation. Another way I can do this, or another way I can label it, is I could say this is X, this is Y, and this is Z. So if I think about this way, what I do, it's hard to see but so the X goes to the right, the Y goes up, and the Z comes out. And just try it with your own hands and see that you can create that orientation of positivity. Okay, so these are the two most popular orientations you'll see. So let me put them next to each other. I'm going to usually use this orientation, but I may find it convenient to use this orientation. Okay, so let's try one that doesn't work. Okay, so if I put, or let's see another one. This one, let's see, if I put X here, okay, if I put X here pointing up, I could put Y here, I guess, and Z here. It's a little bit more difficult, but so the X points up, the Y, your middle finger will go straight into your face, and the Z points to the right. Okay, so it's hard to see. There you go. I don't know. It's crazy with the webcam, but if you see me live, I would be killing it. Okay. This one we don't use, but you know what? It actually works. Okay. So now let's see what happens if I try. This one's bad. This is going to be one of the bad ones. So let's do that in red. Okay, so let's try putting X here, Y here, and Z here. And what happens? So as I go, if I point out, point out X into me, and then I put Y up, the Z would actually go the other way. So the way that it would actually work, if I wanted it to work, X, Y, Z. This one's okay, but we don't use it. Okay, so that's just going to tell you how to orient your axes. Again, the two most common ones that you'll see are these top two. Okay, those are the two that I'll use most often. All right. Okay, so let's go to a next page. I know that I say that I normally do one page per video, but we can do another video with this. Let's start by just plotting a cube, okay? Okay, I'm going to plot a cube with sides, or with edge or vertices 0, 0, 0, 0, let's say 2, 0, 2, 0, 0, and so on and so forth. Okay, all right, so let's start. The easiest way is to start by actually marking your axes. So I'm going to go out 2 on each axis. Okay, so this point here, okay, that point here is going to be 2, 0, 0. Okay, now I'm going to draw in. It's not perfect. The point is not to be perfect, to have it measured out perfectly. With that said, I am going to make this a little better. The point is to just give you an idea of what the thing is supposed to look like. So here, this point here is 2, 2, comma 0. Okay, so this is 2 out in X, 2 out in Y. This point here is 0, 2, comma 0. This point up here is 0, 2, comma 2. This point here is 0, 0, 2. Okay, I can draw this point. That point there, let me draw that in a different color. That point there is 2, 0, comma 2. And then finally this point right here, that point is 2, 2, 2. I don't know, let me zoom way in on there. Okay. Two, two, two. Okay. All right. So that's sort of the first thing, just plotting points that we do. Okay. So one thing I really like to emphasize is that when we think about points, lines, planes, and so on, those actually are objects that have a dimensionality. Okay. So a point is a zero-dimensional object. In this case, living in a three-dimensional space. Okay. A line is a one-dimensional object again, in this case, living in a three-dimensional space. Okay, and then a surface is a two-dimensional object. Again, right now we're talking about a three-dimensional space. Okay, so let's talk about a line real quick. So let's talk about a line just in two space. Okay, so lines in the plane. That's something that you should already have some sense about, okay? So the sense that you have about them should be something like y equals mx plus b. Okay, now one thing that, I mean, it just sort of connects with what I'm saying. You really have two parameters. Okay, your two parameters are m and b. Okay, and that tells you everything you need to know about the line. The y and the x, those are sort of just telling you where on the line you are. But the m and the b define the line. And that gives you your, never mind why it's a one-dimensional object. Never mind that. Okay. But what the M and B do. So I sort of think about them as the B is where the line starts and the M is the direction. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to actually rewrite a line in a parametric form. So let me draw just a sample of this. Okay, so we would start here. Let's say this point here is 0b. So we're going to assume that m and b are both greater than 0, just for our drawing, okay? So b starts here. It goes like so. Okay, now one of the ways that we can rewrite this, we're going to rewrite this in parametric form. Remember we talked about parametric equations in the last set of videos in 9.1. So in parametric form, okay, we're going to have x of t equals t, okay, y of t, bear with me, equals b plus mt. Okay, so watch what happens. Let's say that we're at t equals 0. At t equals 0, we're going to be at 0 comma b. Okay, t equals 1. At t equals 1, we're going to be at 1 b plus m. Okay, so b plus m would be right there. Basically, as you go 1, okay, you're going to go here, and this point is going to be 1 comma b plus m. Okay, so that's a way to describe the line parametrically. And in the next video, what we're going to do, we're going to do three-dimensional lines. And in three-dimensional lines, parametrically is really the only way that you can describe a line. Okay? All right, I'll see you in the next video.